Morning everyone, welcome back to Let's Do Bonsai, day 2 of Let's Do Bonsai versus Houghton Bonsai. It's not too early in the morning, but it's bright and early, and I'm pretty sure this guy went to bed last night, but he's here working on trees, and as Rob always says, everybody needs a Ryan. He's doing fantastic work, and he's just setting about the Juniper that we won at the raffle, at the club raffle, and it's already wired, so he's just going to have a little go at putting some shape into it. Possible branch selection, you know, we'll see how it goes on.
There's not that much to do, like, really, on it. But
not that much to do, so there'll be another tree to do. So you found some stuff to wire there, that's good.
just a little bit.
Corin, like we say, did the initial styling on this and it was set well on its way, but here at Let's Do Bonsai it's been shoved in a corner and neglected and hasn't seen much daylight. So we will get it out into the garden somewhere, on a wall, somewhere nice that it can enjoy life a little bit more.
And flourish.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, slow growing, aren't they? So it's a bit of a wait now yet again, because obviously it hasn't been in decent sunlight. So I can only blame myself for that. But we'll get it out there and get it growing on.
Baby's got an offer. So, you got a friend in me.
I should hope I have got a friend in you, sir. If not, we're in trouble here. So those cuttings that you've taken, I shall get some compost into a pot.
Good job you didn't know that water top.
You what, sorry?
The bottle top. You know the greenhouse bottle top?
Oh yeah.
Or there was one of your grain planters with the plastic tops.
Yeah, there was. I was going to put it in that for whatever reason, but yeah, the any cutting that I do, I always stick in those bottles, and I have decent success from them. That Forsythia cutting from Graham Walker.
Straight in the water.
That went straight in water. Well, we wrapped it up as I left the Sunday workshop. Oh, everybody, Sunday workshop, Akamatsu. I might try and make the journey up to go and see our friendly neighbourhood bonsai club.
It's anything but neighbourhoodly.
Well, you know, I just
check.
happen to be in the neighbourhood. If I can get there, I will be there. So I'm clearing some pots out. We've got one of the Ficus religiosas that didn't make it, so we'll clear that away. So we're wiring the tertiary branches here.
The small stuff.
The small stuff. I swallowed a dictionary, what am I going to say?
He's had alphabet spaghetti for breakfast. Tertiary.
Tertiary branching.
You know I'm from the northeast.
Well, do you only have half the alphabet?
No, our school system sucks.
I used to work with a guy from the northeast. That's where I learned where you ganning marrow.
Where you going, mate?
Where you ganning marrow?
Where you mack 'em?
I'm ganning over there.
Do you know why they call us mack 'ems?
Because you make them.
The boats.
Is it the boats, was it?
I used to make all the ships, didn't we? And we used to say where you mack 'em. That's where it come from. So I've been told. Two out of three went to the side.
we had a comment on our picture saying it looks like we've got too much to do bonsai. I had to read it 3 times to understand what he was saying. Too much to do bonsai. Anders.
Oh,
Anders, regular commenter on the channel. Looks like you've too much to do bonsai. And I was like, hang on a minute, my brain's not in gear. I need to be able to.
Too much to drink.
I need to be able to work that one out. I'm just going to check. It's Sunday, and Allthings Bonsai, Adam at Allthings Bonsai, is just up the road, literally a 5-minute drive maximum. It's at the side of the motorway. So if they're open today, we'll nip up. I would imagine opening on a Sunday would be
the best time.
Ideal time.
Wouldn't it?
Be closed during the week maybe when people can't get in, but open on a Sunday. So let's have a look. Allthings Bonsai. They're based just off the A57 of junction 31 of the M1, which is literally just up the road from me, luckily for me. And I've ended up on the website instead of the Google page. Adam does lots of videos, he knows a lot, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. And up there, I've bought a lot of things up at Let's Do Bonsai in the past. Allthings Bonsai in the past. And claimed them for myself at Let's Do Bonsai. That was the confusion there. Allthings Bonsai.
And there's no beer this early, it's just coffee.
So it says closed, open soon 10 AM. So we can go up this morning, stroke this afternoon, and have a little look round. Might even take a camera with us, if he's all right with us going in with the camera. Have a look. Yeah, it's got some new stuff there, and a few bits. Yeah, it's quite happy in there. It's going to have a long time left in there, won't it?
Oh yeah, just repot it next spring, can't you?
Next spring we'll have a repotting session with it. So these branches were ginned off during the presentation that Corin gave as he was working on it. The idea of obviously being deadwood. Yeah, I must admit, having a Ryan is a very effective way to work in your bonsai area. You seem to get a lot done.
Having a Scotty with a coffee's alright.
You don't have Scotty with a coffee. You don't have to do a lot when you've got a Ryan. Everything just seems to happen around you. As long as you keep him watered, he doesn't even need feeding. He doesn't eat.
Sometimes. Cheap post. Give us a tree and a bed.
And he's well away.
because current's around the wiring.
So a little bit of a reshape and restyle, not the style as such, because Corin had already done the main part of it,
Done the bulk of the work,
as Ryan says. The tree had already been grown with bonsai in mind, so it was already ahead of the curve. But if we can get this positioned up on the wall somehow with something underneath it just to keep it outside and secure it, I think it could.
Just need to get the light on it, don't we? Because it was in the back corner.
Yeah, it was. It's been kind of lost at the back of the grow area up there, and whilst things under these lights are nice and green, there's no substitute for the good old yellow stuff outside. But she's looking good. She just needs what we've got left of summer to put a bit of effort in.
You could pot it for September, but spring,
I think spring.
Spring's preferred. Like,
I'll fetch myself a Ryan in spring.
You'll have loads to do then.
Well, there's always lots to do at Let's Do Bonsai because the guy here don't do it. He's terrible. So we got a few cuttings off of that tree while Ryan was working on it. So I've got one of our potting stations set up. We're just going to mix some rooting powder with some rooting gel, because obviously it's very late in the year, it's not the right time, but we think everything deserves a chance. So we'll put some rooting powder and some gel into this dish, and if I can just find something to mix it up with, little chopstick, and we'll just turn that into a rooting paste. So a bit more gel. Oh. Because when you dip it into the powder, what I have found, as you transfer it into the soil, it can slide off your area that you're wanting to root of those little cut off branches. So that's our little bit of root juice. We'll get our planting pot, and Ryan's already stripped the foliage back to give us something to root. And what I just like to do is get my nail and just scrape some of that top layer off to expose some of the green cambium underneath, because they carry those differentiated cells that are either going to become branches or roots. Swallow my dictionary again, differentiated. And then once we've done that, we can put that into some rooting hormone. Ryan's kindly made me a little hole to plant it in, and then we can put it in position. So we'll just keep going with what we got left. I will strip a little bit of the bark just to expose some of the cambium, those differentiated cells.
Ryan's laughing his head off camera here.
Get it into the paste. That gives us the rooting compound, and we'll just press that into some soil. Like we said, it's the wrong time of year really to be doing this. You'd normally have done this in spring, and it's got the spring and the summer, but it'll be sat in here in the warm with the grow lights, so it's got every opportunity to do something. Scraped off, dipped it into our rooting solution, and then into the soil. We'll do that for all of these. And I have found that exposing the cambium to the rooting compound can help. It's not guaranteed to work, but it's a little bit more than just putting it in rooting powder, because it's got to get through that bark layer. And it just helps retain our rooting compound on our cutting. This is just the compost that you can get from Greenwoods. I bought a bag last time I was down there. 2 bags in fact, and they're ideal for emergency plantings, planting things on stuff that you want to, you know, just stick in a pot and see how it goes, rather than using the expensive bonsai soil. So we've got just 2 more to do. We'll be able to get one in there and one in somewhere around there. So just strip back that bark layer, as I've already said. Then you've got all the sides for it to put roots out, and the bottom of the cutting. And who knows, this may strike and we may end up with some little cuttings that we can do some interesting stuff on some rocks and boulders and things like that. It'd be ideal, won't it?
They look well, wouldn't it? Could take a year to root though, couldn't it?
Yep, we'll just leave it in there, keep it moist in its little humidity tank, and we'll just leave them like we have the pine one. I'll show you the pine one. So these are a little bit different. They've got one of the pop bottles on the top, and they've been in there, oh, I can't remember when we set this up, but they've been in there a good while, and they have put on some growth, but they may be living on the sap that's in there. There does seem to be one here that's died off at the top, so that gives a positive for the other ones. I mean, it feels very loose. I would say that's
dead.
A dead one. So we'll get rid of that because it's occupying space. But these, they feel very solid in the soil.
I like one.
There is a little bit of resistance in there. We'll there's some feed in this water, so we'll just put a little bit in, so if there is some roots there, they might get a little bit of nourishment.
When he means feed, he only means like a cupful.
Yeah, it's literally just a tiny bit of watered down bonsai focus feed, nothing heavy, just something little just to give them a little bit of nourishment. So that's the cuttings. We'll now look to do another tree, but we'll also look to have a quick visit up to Allthings Bonsai.